This is a video I never really saw myself making because I never really felt that it was necessary to, I guess, expose this part of my life on the internet. And for the most part, it probably isn't, but I feel as with the rise of things like AI, it is very important to express humanism, and it's more important than it ever has been now. I recently opened up a little more on this topic on a recent stream of mine, and I went more into detail on the death of my grandma, or my Grammy. I call her my Grammy, so just know that that's who I'm referring to. And I wanted to make a video like this around the time it happened, but I was too vulnerable emotionally, and it probably wouldn't have gone too well. I'm a really bad speaker, if you haven't told. I just fucked up speaking there. But I'm a really bad speaker. If you ever watch like one of my videos, like a CD video or whatever, there's frequent cuts. I speak really fast. I'm very bad at verbalizing myself, and I tend to go on and say and swear words. Actually, fun fact: the reason why, or at least the reason why I think I say so many swear words is because it gives my brain a second to catch up on what I actually want to say. So I'll throw a fucker as shit in there because my brain needs a second to recoup all my thoughts, and that's also reason why I say a lot. But that's just me. Like right now, I just kind of lost my train of thought. But I'm really bad at verbalizing myself, and this is a video that, in that like state of mind that I was in around the time it happened, it definitely wasn't a good place to be. But I want to express myself to get into touch with people who have experienced or are experiencing the same things that I went through when my Grammy died. And one thing you've probably noticed is I have the comments turned off. I have the like to dislike or the likes off. And that's because this isn't a topic that I necessarily want to talk about, especially the people who haven't experienced something like this. I don't want sympathy. This isn't what this video is for. It might seem like it because why else? Something like this is kind of a really random video to make. And I get that, but like I said, I'm not trying to do this video for sympathy. I don't care if you're sad that my grandma died. Believe me, I've been pretty sad about it. But it's something that I feel that I want to talk about because I feel that there are people out there, even if it's just one person, there are people out there that probably need to hear that what they're going through is normal in the sense of it happens, which is not a great way of looking at it, but it's true. It is what happened. My experiences, my grandmother had lung cancer and was diagnosed in 2023, maybe. My dates are all over the place, so if I say things that are contradictory, I don't remember shit at all. I don't remember what day she died. I just remember, like, the month, I think. But my grandmother developed lung cancer in around 2023. I think it was my first semester of sophomore year, if I recall, or maybe the second, one of the two. It might have been the second. I can't recall exacts. The second, or the second year of, or my second semester of my sophomore year was really awful, not just because of, the development of my grandmother having cancer, just a really bad time in my life overall. I think, yeah, I'm not editing this video, so expect a lot of weird, like, pauses and shit. I don't care to edit a video like this. I don't want to watch this again. But, about the course of, I think, a little less than a year, maybe, I slowly watched my grandmother die, I guess you could say. Just becoming less and less active, a lot more tired, and just kind of overall giving up. And I never got mad at her for it, which might sound weird, but I never did because I understood. I've never died or had an experience where it felt like I was going to die, but I got it, and I never got mad at her or anything. My grandmother was always a very immobile person. Is that a correct word? I don't know if that's a word or not. My grandmother was never very active. She was around the time I was alive. She was always very overweight. Um, Never really got up unless she wanted to or she had to go shopping or get cigarettes or something. That's why she got lung cancer. She smoked. So don't do that, pretty please. Smoking's bad. Tisk tisk tisk. But yeah, my grandmother was very immobile for, you know, every time all. For all that I was alive. Not that she never got up or anything. She could, and she very well did most of the time. But especially when she got older, she didn't. She just wasn't very active. Um, and seeing someone who was already not very active as is, and not saying, like I said, not saying she didn't do anything, but seeing someone that definitely wasn't as active as one could be, and then seeing them get progressively less and less, it's not a very good sight. And there she went to chemo every. I can't remember the exact days. I think like Tuesdays and Thursdays or some shit. My mom would be waking up and go drive an hour or two to go to the hospital. And my Grammy was very claustrophobic, and they'd put her in these like face molds or whatever the fuck. I can't. All the details of what she went through and the treatment she had to go through, they're very blurry to me because I was kind of half listening, if I'm gonna be honest. But she was she hated getting treated. um, almost every day or every time she'd come home, she'd have bruises up and down her arms because my Grammy's her skin was very weak, and they're picking her with all these big fucking needles, and so she'd come home, her arms bruised to hell. Uh, but the more and more that she started to I was gonna say decompose. That's not really a good word to use in this in this scenario. But the more and more she started to, I don't know, just deteriorate. It takes a toll. And my way of coping probably isn't a good way to cope. But my way of coping was I pretended like nothing bad was happening. And I think this stems from early childhood. I wasn't like abused. I was never really hit or anything. I was verbally abused by some of my uh, guardians, I guess. Is that the older people in my life? I was kind of verbally abused by some of them, and it led me to be a little more. I don't know what's a good word to say here, but whenever something bad was happening, I learned to just kind of shut up and walk away and whatever. But I do snap back on occasion if it's someone I really don't like. But in cases like these, I just kind of, my way of coping was to turn my brain off and go play a video game or listen to music and just kind of act like nothing bad was happening. And deluding yourself like that is never the proper way to go about something like this, but that's just how my brain functions. That's what it automates to whenever something bad to this degree happens. I remember the final days she was alive. Alive, quote unquote. Her final days of living were not great because she wasn't really there. She was off in another world, I guess. I don't know. I don't know exactly how the whole death thing works. From what I recall, from what we had these nurses, hospice workers, whatever the fuck. She didn't. She lived at home. She died in her house, thank God. But hospice workers would come once or twice a week, and she was in like her body was prepping her for death and whatnot. And when that happened, she wasn't really there. We were taking care of her and whatever. I'm not going to go into everything we had to do to take care of her because it's nasty. Taking care of a cancer patient, especially when you're doing it at home, is a lot nastier than you realize. Because, they're not able to, especially with someone who's as heavy as her. No offense, Grammy. But, dealing with someone like that, it's a lot harder than someone. So there's a lot of nasty work involved. My mom, she had to move her mattress to the living room. I guess for context, my Grammy's bedroom is like on the entire other side of the house. My mom and I, she's probably hearing me right now. Hi, Mom. Uh, our bedrooms are right next to each other, and my Grammy's bedroom is all the way on the other side of the house. So if she ever needed anything, she would have to call my mom's phone, and sometimes that just wouldn't work. My mom ended up, like I said, moving her mattress to the living room, and there was this one night where my Grammy fell fell on her fucking face. And, really, really evil and laughing, but I was, I didn't see it. I think my mom woke me up because I had to help her up or whatever, but, sorry for laughing. It probably sounds really mean, but that's another way that I cope with, bad memories like this. But, my Grammy fell and fell off her bed. She had a really high bed, I should mention, way higher than she needed it to be. And maybe 11, 12, 1, sometime in the middle of the night, my mom and I had to help her up. And my Grammy had to call my mom's phone 20 to 30 times just for her to wake up. And, my mom woke me up and we got her up. And how my mom decided to fix this issue was she bought this, like, I don't know what its intended purpose is, but essentially it's this thing that plugs into your wall outlet. My Grammy had a button, and when she pressed this button, it played this really loud, like, jingle or whatever, and it was very effective. It worked. It scared the shit out of me some nights, because, on the weekends where I'd stay up, I'd hear this fucking button go off every couple hours, because, my Grammy has to use the bathroom, or she wants to smoke, or whatever. Actually, on the top of her smoking, she got these, like, really thick rubber mats, so she could place it on the floor so she could still smoke in her room. Because, God forbid, she would not. She used to smoke in her bathroom when she, could walk and get up by herself and all that. But, that wasn't much of an option. Her bathroom was in her room, but when you have cancer, you become really weak. You can't really do all that much by yourself. So she got these really thick rubber mats that didn't fucking work. I mean, I think they did, but I could have sworn she still had some burn holes in her floor from the cigarettes, because my Grammy loved smoking. Oh, did she love smoking? I mean, that's why she got the cancer. But the final day that she was around, quote unquote around, she wasn't, like I said, she wasn't really there. And I don't know what bit of her was there or whatever. I think she died the day after my mom told me that her death was coming soon. The nurses said that she had about 6 months, and then I think she passed about 2 months later or something like that. So, bit of a bit of a sudden. It was a lot more sudden than we were expecting. But I think it was the day after my mom told me she was going to die that she actually died. And I remember that final day. Something was wrong with my Grammy's nose. My mom decided to run to Walgreens to get one of those like things you stick in babies' noses to help them like clear their noses. I don't know what they're called, and some other shit. And it was just me and my Grammy left alone in the room. And it's not like she was going to fucking implode on the spot or whatever, but I decided to stick with her, and I held her hand for maybe 20, 30 some minutes. And, like I said, I don't think she was all there. I don't even know if she meant to, but she did, like, grab my hand sometimes, and, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if she was all there or whatever. I don't know if she meant to, but, there was the, last moments I remember having with her. And we wanted to get her more comfortable in her bed. For context, she was sleeping on this, like, hospice bed, a lot lower to the ground. Mattress was a lot more uncomfortable, I could imagine. And we had, like, all these blankets and pillows around, trying to make it as comfortable as possible. And we were moving her around, like, literally moving her body and whatever. And, she's a heavier person, but it wasn't impossible to move her. My mom could do it by herself, with some struggle, but my mom could do it by herself. And when we were moving her around and whatever, I was holding her hand, and then she, like, gripped my hand really hard. And it was, like, really shocking. I didn't know she had that much life left in her. But she, like, really gripped my hand. And she just looked at me. And it was a look of, I don't know how to describe the look. It was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe this look now that I'm, like, looking back on it. But even then, I don't know if I'm remembering it properly. My memories are a lot fuzzy of this time, but I don't quite remember how to describe this look she gave me. It was kind of like shock and something else. Like I said, I don't quite know how to describe it. I went to sleep, and the morning I woke up, my mom told me that my Grammy passed away. And, I gotta say my goodbyes. I was very lucky I was able to say my goodbyes. Um, I was there. I wasn't there the last moments of her life. She passed away in her sleep, but, I got to say goodbye. And that's not a luxury everyone gets to have with a loved one like this. And I have a friend who, I won't get too into this because this is their own personal business, but I do have a friend who didn't get to say goodbye, and it's fucked up. That's really all I can put it. It's fucked up, how they didn't get to, give their proper goodbyes like how I did. And it makes me feel a little bad because I know that they're nowhere near the only person who didn't get to say goodbye. And me and my Grammy, we were close, but I'm sure that there were people who were even closer. And, they didn't, they weren't there with the last moments of their life. Because that's, life's fucking scary. I could go outside and I could take a stroll to my local shop or whatever. I can get run over. Some crazed gunman could be in this shop and blow my fucking brains out. And it couldn't happen. But it could happen. I mean, there's so many school shootings happening nowadays. I'm a high schooler. I'm in my second semester of high school. I have about maybe, I have a couple months left. Any days through these couple months, someone could come into my school and blow my fucking brains out. It could happen. Anything could happen. And it's really scary. But I was lucky. I did get to say goodbye to her. And the following week was pretty hectic. We had a bunch of family over. I got to see some family that I hadn't seen in quite a while. And I got to see some family that I hadn't in a long time at that point. And it was a very melancholic week. Actually, I got to see my Grammy one last time before she went off to the cremation. On an unrelated note, holy fuck, is cremation expensive? What is it with every, death preservation? Why is it always so fucking expensive? Caskets are expensive as fuck, especially for someone of my Grammy's size. Caskets are expensive as fuck. My Grammy got cremated. I can't remember how much it was, but it was a couple $1,000. And that's fucking insane. It's just a big old furnace. I had to pause for a second. Anyways, preservation of the dead is so comically expensive. I don't get why. Anyways, on that note, I did get to see my Grammy one last time. Not alive, but I did get to see her one last time, and it was definitely top 5 worst experiences of my life, because, maybe about 10, 15 people in this room all crying and shit. Because, it was, my aunt got to see her dead mom for the first time. I think it was my second time seeing her like that. And, yeah, just a awful experience that I wish on no one except for people I don't like. But life after it happened, it did get better. We weren't doing so well financially at the time. My Grammy was the breadwinner because, goddamn, did the government love her. She got so much government money. And, we didn't do so well financially at the time. We did need a lot of help, but after a while, nowadays we're doing pretty good. And, yeah, I mean, I've accepted it. And I will say, I wasn't quite as depressed as you would expect one to be after their loved one dies. And I think that's because I had a lot of time to accept and understand and prepare. I want to say maybe a year or so, and not everyone gets that long amount of time to go through those 7 stages. And, I mean, there is the whole 7 stages when you're told and you see it happen, and then you kind of repeat the process after it happened. But my second phase of the 7 stages or whatever, it went by pretty quickly. And I was fortunate to have. This is gonna sound corny. This is gonna sound so fucking corny. But I was definitely fortunate enough to have support by so many people that I love. Just friends, family, and whatever, and all the media that I love, and that helped me so. And it did help a lot, in the end. And like I said, corny shit, friends, family, whoever supported me and helped me get through that really rough time. But I guess all I want to say for the people who are going through what they are going through, and whatever stage you might be in, whatever stage they might be in, it does get better. It hasn't been quite a full year. She died in April, May, I don't fucking remember. I think it was April. It's February as I'm recording this. So I've still got a few months until it's been a full year, but it does get better. It might not seem like it. It might never seem like it, but through enough preservation, enough time, through enough whatever bullshit, it does get better. And I'm not the best person when it comes to advice, generally speaking. But distracting yourself does help a lot. Maybe not to the degree that I did, but finding good distractions does help a lot. I don't think I have much else to say. I don't think I want to say much more. I tried to be as I guess elusive or as private as I can be about such a personal issue. But I don't know. I just felt like I felt like I should talk about it to at least to the people who need another voice in their life to tell you that hey, it might never seem like it, but it does end up getting better one day. I don't think I have much else to say except for one thing. To the bastards who are watching this, leave me alone about this topic. I don't want to talk about this topic any more than I have to. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I had this video on my mind for a while, and my brain wouldn't leave me alone until I made this video. So I'm done. I mean, if you are going through the same thing, then I guess you feel free to hit me up or whatever. I'm not a good advice giver, but I am a good ear, I'd say. So that's your only excuse. If your good person is dying, you can talk to me. I wouldn't mind if you talk to me, because hey, we have something to relate to. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Yeah. Sorry that this video is so depressing. I don't know how to warn someone on that. I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna title this. Anyways, hi mom. Don't talk to me about this.